Hello everyone. Just want to give you guys an update on how the garden is doing, so stay tuned. All right, everyone. So the weather is really getting a little spicy out here. So I'm trying to take extra precautions and trying to keep up with watering everything. At some point, I'm going to try to figure out there's a drip irrigation for these green stalks. I just want to focus on some other areas first because I can just easily come and water these. I water them by hand with a water hose. Other areas in the garden, I'm focusing more on the drip irrigation. So this here, this green stalk here, the empty spots that you see, I'm saving them to transplant the runners from the strawberry green stalk here and then transplant them over so they have some place to be. There's a couple spots here, but not many. So, but they're doing really well. So the spinach is still doing well. We harvest it from time to time, but it keeps coming back. And this is that Corinthian spinach that I have been saying that I didn't like. And while the beginning growing process was a bit funky, it's really doing well. It's actually doing really well. The strawberries as well. So some of the strawberry cups that we got from Greenstalk, we filled with runners. Some are not because we don't have some of the runners. So now that I have a runner here, I'll probably go ahead and fill one of those cups up, put it here and transplant that one. Well, not transplant it, put it in there. And when it's rooted, we'll go ahead and snip it. Right now, this one is not quite rooted. It's not really sitting there. So it's almost there. But we got it here so that it can kind of implant itself. Some of them have planted themselves in the cups. Some have not. Like this one. Okay, so right here, I'll just use this one for an example. This one is almost planted itself in there. I'm starting to see some of the roots come out. Once they fully grow roots and everything, we'll snip them off. But the strawberries themselves, so I have my husband come out here. These are really for him. Have him come out here and grab some of these strawberries that are going. Then we have a bunch more. And I usually fertilize once a week, everything. I choose the day when my grandkids are here or with my husband, and we just come out here and somebody take the green stalk area, somebody would do the greenhouse, somebody would do herb pots, different things. But they're doing well. Onions are also doing well. They're getting really, really thick. The stalks are getting super thick. So I don't have any complaints when it comes to these at all. They're really holding up. And I don't know exactly when the first date that I put these in here, but I know they've been in here since March. So I will say they, of course, making dramatic changes in growth since then. There are, again, some empty pockets there. Once some of them died, I just did not put any in there. I didn't want to take any from some of the ones at the tops over here and put them in. I just left it the way it was. Over here, there's been a surge of growth with all of these. My beans here, they're doing really well. I just rotate them because we get a lot of sun on this side. So I just constantly rotate and just making sure that they're getting, adequate sun all the way around. And these are the blue lakes. And at the top, just some Russian kale and some more of the onion starts. Some of these are not as big as those over there. This gets a lot of sun, so I'm not sure. But they are different types of onions. Over here, some Swiss chard, red romaine in the onions, and then the hodgepodge of things. And because I rotate because this is spinach, and look how the sun has scorched these. So this is why I have to come out here and rotate, because it's starting to get super hot. And a lot of these will come out of the garden. So a lot of stuff is getting sunburnt. It's just time for it to come out, and I'll replace it with some more warm weathered crops or heat sensitive crops. So you see, it'll get sunburned. And we've harvested a bunch of stuff, but still, it will get sunburned. But a lot of this spinach is gonna come out. But everything, even my leeks over here, I rotate those. Those are getting much bigger. Those were planted in late April, early May. Those were planted late. I just didn't get around to putting them in there. And then even over here with both of the strawberry and the cherry blossom, these have a lot of my cool weather crops. I got a broccoli here finally coming. So just letting the broccoli finish heading up, and then we'll just take them out. Over here, same thing. This is my lilac, has a lot of my summer vegetables in them. So we finally got a lettuce that's finally heading up. Collard greens, some nasturtiums. There, a lot of this will come out, and then I'm probably gonna make this more floral, just more floral. Same thing with this one over here. This one has my carrots that we've added to this one, some marigolds. So I'm gonna have this carrots, mostly carrots in here, and then I'll keep the tops the way they are, with the exception of the one over there that has the lettuce. I'll take the lettuce out and replace all that, but I'll keep the onions and probably add some things like kale, some Swiss chard, just things that are more, they can handle this type of weather. But I'm definitely going to keep the nasturtiums, keep the carrots, may add some beets, things like that. And then over here, this one is, so my cilantro is done for. We've harvested it a couple times, but this is not the weather for your cilantro. Cilantro, and even dill for that matter, does not like the heat. I'm leaving the dill because sometimes the butterflies will lay their eggs on the dill, and sometimes the parsley, which is why I leave it. But the cilantro will come out, and I will probably put some tarragon in there, things like that. Just, I have more that I put in there, maybe some basil, things like that. The top here with the fennel is doing amazing. That fennel and these onions over here are also doing amazing. The thyme is doing amazing. But yeah, this parsley and stuff is going to be a little too hot for that. But we're still going to go ahead and rotate it out. The rosemary, just everything over here. The oregano, here's that dill down there. But this green stalk, if I step back so you can see it, is doing great. I have a lot of plants that I need to get in the ground today. Someone dropped this off to me. They had it and dropped it off. So I'm like, I'll plant it somewhere. That's a tomato. But everything over there is flourishing. I am going to make some adjustments to what's growing over here because of the weather. But for the most part, it's doing great. All right. My flowers over here are doing wonderful. The nasturtiums are opening up. Marigolds, the alyssum, the violas, everything is really doing really well. Over here, the pansies and the snapdragons. These snapdragons haven't opened. These were planted last. So these snapdragons haven't opened, but these have. And aren't they doing amazing? Yeah, they're doing really well. Some amazing plants. Those are opening there. Up here on my back porch, which I don't always photograph or put on camera, some yarrow. This pot usually hangs there. Just trying to get it out of the sun a little bit. Some beets here that are starting to pop up. I saw some tops of some beets popping up. These are doing okay. These are golden beets. And while I like golden beets, I also like their greens. Same thing with these over here. Same thing. There were some weeds that kind of took over where you see empty spots. But other than that, they're doing fine. And then there's another yarrow plant that's hanging over here. But again, they're doing great. Over here, there was a bunch of weeds that were trying to take over. This weed right here that was trying to take over. So a lot of the spaces that you see that's empty was that plant there trying to take over. So I just had to put them out, but they're all still doing okay. So they all got a deep watering yesterday, and they should be doing fine. I'm gonna take you over here to this area here for my porch with my potatoes, the medicinal herb patch, the grapes, the lettuce table, which is almost all harvested, and these bucket tables and the pepper table. Mostly all of the lettuce will come out today. I'm going to amend that soil, and I'm going to replant just a bunch of different things. I was going to make that my sweet potato table, but I didn't want to have to wait for all the harvest of the lettuces. I had grew a lot for friends and family, and they were kind of slow to come get them. So I ended up moving where I planted my sweet potatoes, which we'll see momentarily. The potatoes, Flourishing. There's 7 bins here, just your typical bins that you get from your local hardware store or big box shops, and planted them. And then different ones from the russet, Yukon Gold, Kennebec, purple, you name it, they're here. And they're all doing well. They're starting to flower. And again, I fertilize these once a week. We're just now adding the drip irrigation to them. So my husband's he stopped here. Actually stopped there, but we have another one. He's gonna install it today. This is set up here. And this drip irrigation is mainly for these here, working our way over, and then we'll have one over there that'll be strictly for the potatoes. But my self-heal, my aster, this marshmallow, it's got a little leaf mining on it. They love this plant for some reason. It's in there, the Ella campaigns, my motherwort, some more yarrow, bee balm, alfalfa, some basil that we just added in here, and then our cornflower or echinacea that is popping up. This is stinging nettle. Don't touch it, guys, because you will definitely get stung. Some more pink amaranth right there. Look at that bright pink stem, and our purple dome aster that is doing well. All of these are perennial to my area, so hopefully next year, except for the pink amaranth, everything else over here is a perennial, and it should pop up. I was wrong about the marshmallow plant not being perennial. It is perennial in my area. I have never grown it this year, so we'll see. Hopefully in my area, Chicago, Zone 6, it will come back, but I've never seen it come back, but they said it is, so I'm going to do a little extra work to make sure it does. But next year, depending on how the amaranth does here, if not, I'll put another perennial plant here, maybe some plantain or something else. All right, the grapes are coming along. Look at them, guys. Look at them. So if you guys don't know, they go through that little funky stage where they look like, I don't see anymore where it's looking like that, but they go through that little funky stage and then they start to plumping up. Yep, so they're doing really, really well. If the ones that I planted this year don't take next year, I'll just get some new ones. These are my greenhouses that from yourgreenhouses.com that we haven't put together yet because we're just finishing up some other projects. So this won't be put up until late summer, early fall. We'll get on that project when it's get underway. I'm letting all of my, look at that, look at all of this arugula. I'm letting it go to seed because I usually give a lot of this away. Some of it I do sell, but so my lettuce is starting to bolt because this is all we have left off this lettuce table, guys. So everything over here is going to come out today. We're going to keep what's good, chop it up, put it in our solid container in the fridge, and revamp this table today. So everything will come up. The spider has made this little web here. I don't know if you can see that. But all of this is going to come out, and this will be turned over, new soil added, and we'll get something else planted here. And then over here, we have cabbages that are almost ready to come up out of here. Another cabbage there, cabbage here, and then cabbage there. The broccoli that was here, all of the broccoli has come out. These had cauliflower, all the cauliflower has come out. And then right here is one purple cauliflower that's still going. So I'm gonna leave this here, or, I don't usually transplant my cauliflower because it's such a sensitive plant. But I may, because I do want this all to be my summer crops. The cabbages will be out of here soon, and whatever isn't ready, I do transplant my cabbage. So like I might end up transplanting this one, And I might end up transplanting these, but these right here will be ready for harvest soon. But I might definitely transplant this one and these, and then just move things around if need be. But they will get moved over here at some point, so that I can get the rest of my okra, eggplant, cucumbers, and tomatoes over here. And then over here, I just let this one go to flower because I just like it. It's a really pretty yellow, white flower. So while the other ones have that yellow flower like this is a particular a particular variety of Chinese broccoli. It has this white flower. And I usually always let this one go to seed, just to attract pollinators. And then back there's another cabbage. This one, okay, these I'll leave. And then over here, I'm transitioning everything off of this table into my peppers. So everything over here, and we already got peppers coming along here. So some people snip peppers. I don't snip them. I whatever growing, whatever doesn't. I get a great harvest no matter what. So I don't try to just snip off things. I don't. I let it grow, and whatever it does. It does. So the only thing over here that's not a pepper is this bok choy, which is going to be removed. And this here is some beans that I'm going to move and put into a different area in the garden. And then everything over here will be pepper. So I got about 3 more pepper plants that I need to get planted ASAP, which one is there. So I'm going to probably put it over here and then put them over here and put one up in the main garden. As I make my way to this bucket area, my carpenter will be making this shortly, this second bucket table for here. This will be what you see it is, except for that cabbage. So this will be some okra here, the peppers here, okra there, tomatoes here, peppers here, okra there. So that's what this will remain. And then a second drip irrigation system will be added here for this area here. And that, I probably have my husband do both of these drip irrigations today. Got another bucket that we can throw up under that table. Bin like this up under that table, and he'll just probably install it there. And so there's one there for the, basically where the lettuce table is to those buckets. And then this one here is going over to the pepper table, which we might end up moving to here and then have theirs kind of just be separated, and everything will work out just fine. But everything over here will be on drip irrigation because I don't like to bring the water hose over here and water daily in the summertime. I'd rather just fill these, 4 little buckets up and call it a day. It's just easier for me that way. Okay, here's the progress on the coop, which he's already added most of the hardwood cloth. He's installed a door. Here, he actually handcrafted this door himself, so this is not a pre-bought door. This is him putting parts and pieces together, and he's making a door. He's made the door, and it closes. He'll have 3 sets of locks. He installed more hardwood cloth going under so that animals can't dig. And then, of course, as we make our way over here, this itself is the actual coop, which is coming along quite nicely. He's already working on the nesting boxes over there. This right here will have some cedar shake shingles on it, and then hardwood cloth surrounding everything else. He's insulating really well for the winter here because we have those brutal winters. So I'm loving the progress. He's installing the gutters, things like that. It already has this electrical lines that he's adding, so we can have electricity in here for possible heat or whatever the case may be, fans, heat, whatever the chickens may need. Probably, just to kind of keep it cool in here for them, or whatever the case I may need electricity for. Okay. And before I make my way to the main garden, let's go back here and check. My workspace is a little junky, guys, because he's been out here working, but I'm, again, loving the progress. So we have to just kind of wait so I can get this area cleaned up. And so this here is that asparagus patch that we're just letting continuously grow and let those ferns blossom out. Here is the peach tree. This is the growth on this peach tree. Loving it. Here's the progress on some of these peaches that are on here. So I have zero clue, guys, how big these peaches will get anything. This is just the, we planted this last year, so never had peaches back here before, so we don't know. We're just gonna let it do what it does. We just continue to water and fertilize. And then over here is the 4-in-1 apple. Same thing. We let it do what it do. We just planted this spring, so not expecting anything, though I do see little apple buds on here. I don't know if you see those little apple buds, but we're gonna let it do what it do. And was not expecting anything off of here, so whatever it produces, it produces. Okay, so this is the space here that, again, for those who are just now joining me and has never been to my channel, this is where the new greenhouse will go. Back there is usually an area where I keep my dogs when we're working and doing certain things to keep them from just being in the way. It was originally my chicken run, but I had ordered, and I just didn't feel like it was going to be sturdy enough attaching the wood coop to it, and I didn't want to just throw a coop in it because, I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was going to be enough protection out here in my area. While I live in the city, I do have coyotes, raccoons, foxes that come through, hawks, owls, just everything. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with just that. So that's why we started building this from scratch. So that right there will be something else. As I make my way to the main garden here, this is the area that we extended. So I'm gonna just it's a lot of new things and changes that we added through here. So I just wanna share that with you guys. And the greenhouse it's being revamped because a lot of that was holding a lot of my plants that we're currently planting. So we're getting there. This here is my 4x4. So in here is Swiss chard, that is Premier Kale, some bush beans here, some carrots there. I just planted some beets here and some radishes here, and I just pulled the cabbage from over there, cauliflower there, and broccoli there. I'm gonna pull that cabbage also, and back there we'll replant just something else. I'm not sure just yet, but the Swiss chard and kale will stay, and then there's a cabbage right next to that and an empty space right next to the Swiss chard. So in that space I'm still mapping it out. And then over here, look at the growth of all these plants over here. Look at that mullein, my peppermint, my valerian, my chicory, my wild lettuce, my red clover, that stinging nettle. Again, that marshmallow plant that has, the leaf miners love this marshmallow. Like, they love it. See that? I never really get them except for on there. And then the horehound. This here is clary sage. And I love this one. This one is watercress. I just think it's so pretty for some reason. My watercress, my catnip, lemongrass, lemon balm, some spearmint, and sage. So all of these plants in the dreaded white moth. But yeah, so that's that area over here on the other side of my green stalks. And then I'll take you to the main garden. We'll end it with the greenhouse. So along this fence, I have my cucumbers growing. They're here because cucumbers this gets full sun. This area gets full sun all day long, okay? So my cucumbers kept taking a beating under the archway. So I put them over here where they can still get the sun, but it's not blazing, okay? And then, so that one is just the cucumbers. This is cucumbers with some bush beans. I'm just gonna see how they grow over here. If not, I'll move the bush beans next time. But they seem to be doing okay. They seem to be pairing well together. Flowers are coming along. So seems to be doing okay. And this was a plant, and you see how beat up it looks? This is a plant that I moved from direct sun. These plants were already put over here. This one was moved from direct sun, and this one. Everything else was started over here because it was just too much sun. And then more nasturtiums. And then as I turn this way, my calendula, snapdragons. Look at the chamomile coming in. So I'm going to harvest some of those. Some violas, calendula, and some other snapdragons that have not opened over here. And then look at all of the sugar snaps that are coming in. So we're going to harvest a bunch of these today. Saute them. I eat them right off the plant, but I also saute them. So when they're this size, small like this, we just saute them like that. And when they're plump like this, which is where we want them to be, then we eat them right off the plant. So depending on when we harvest them, when they're flat like this, have that flat, we just saute them like snow peas, so to speak. But when they're thick like this one, we eat them directly off the plant. And they're really, really sweet. So we have a bunch over here as well. So everything over here is really doing good. And then some more pole beans here, pole beans there. And then right here on this side, we have butternut squash with some zinnias. And then again, butternut squash and these black bags with zinnias. And then right down here in this little white pot is some Malabar spinach. I have another one that goes here. I just have to scoot everything over and put it there. And then in the buckets is watermelon. This one is taken off. And so some of these are dying off. This was some marigolds. But before I get into all of the other things, this is what we just recently added right here. So right here was originally my blueberries and whatnot. They've been moved to that area of the garden. So over here is this new pot. I gotta fill it up with a little bit more soil. And here's my corn, and then this tomato plant. Now this tomato plant is not gonna stay here. It's just temporarily sitting here until I get this area together. And over here will be a squash plant. And then right here is some all tomatoes in here with 2 marigolds. Okay, so they're falling down. I have to finish staking them. I just haven't got a chance, but here it is. It's like this. So I'm going to finish staking them up. So it is a total of 6 tomato plants in here and 2 marigolds. And then over here is strictly corn. This was stressed out in my greenhouse. I had to hurry and get it out here. But it will eventually look really well. So I'll keep updating you on this corn here. And this here is like bicolor corn. And then again, 6 tomato plants. I'll put 2 marigolds here, and it'll be those 6. And then again, corn. And then as I work my way back around, this is where I decided to put my sweet potatoes. So in each of these are sweet potato plants. And as we get over here, this was some plants that I was trying to rescue. Don't think it's going to happen. So I'll just probably, because I have more. This was some acorn squash. I just put them in here to see if I could save them. It's not, this one looks like it's trying to come. I don't know. But if it doesn't, I have more acorn squash that I've started. So I'll just put it here. And then over here, some peanuts. That's some stinging nettle. I have more than I needed. I may or may not plant that. I have plenty of stinging nettle everywhere. Some watermelon that I'm going to put in some of these grow bags over here. This here is cucumber. So it's in full sun. So I'm going to see. I know it's just a lot of sun in this area, but because we're building an area over here, I might end up transplanting these. But the peanuts are going to do fine over here. And then more sweet potatoes. And then over here, some pole beans. And then right there is some watermelon. So I'm going to leave that watermelon there in these empty pots where I just harvested a few things. Like this cabbage is finally heading up. A lot of this stuff will come out. Like this cabbage will come out. This cabbage will come out eventually. And then this cabbage is ready. So, and I pulled that cabbage. That was that beautiful head of cabbage that you guys saw. It was here. So these cabbages will come up, and along this fence will be watermelon. Or some type of melon. That's what's going to go over here. And I'll let it vine out or vine over. So that way it'll have this space. And then working my way this way. So I'm going to put another drip irrigation over here. Mainly for these plants against this area right here. And put this will be used for them here. Strawberry spinach, so I moved it so I could put all my corn over there. So I'm going to harvest all the red that you see here. And then let this plant die off. Because it came back last year. So I planted this in August of last year. I got nothing. It came back on its own. I did not know if it was perennial or biennial or annual, but clearly it's at least biennial. But everyone's saying just leave it and see if it'll come back. I may. But I'm definitely going to harvest a little berries off of them and throw them in my salad when I harvest that lettuce over there and have a really good salad today. But all of the berries are going to come off of here. And then in here, I'm going to add some borage over here. And then this here is a dead piece of my blackberry plant. So I'm going to cut those pieces off. And that's the new growth of the blackberry plant that's coming in. Love it, love it, love it. And these will get cut off. And then the blueberries are along this way. This blueberry plant never took, so I just added some bush beans over here because I just didn't want to have any wasted space. And I had a ton of bush beans that I had started, and I wanted to get them implanted. So I may move those. They're probably not going to stay. And I may go buy a blueberry plant and see, or if not, I'll switch this around and get me the golden raspberry, because that's the one I don't have. So it was either going to be golden raspberries or figs. I prefer golden raspberries, even though I love figs. And then over here, we do have some blueberries coming in from this one. And then blueberries are coming in over here on this one. And then these are the raspberries that are slowly coming in. This plant is so hardy. Like, I don't care what you do to this plant. It's going to happen. This plant said it's going to be great no matter what. It's very low maintenance plant for the raspberry here. Very high maintenance plants for the blueberries. Like, blueberries are like divas. Soil quality has to be excellent. It's just a lot. So I'm going to come out here today and actually tend to them, test their soil. I usually add a little bit more acidity to it because it's an acid-loving plant. Blackberries are also very hardy. With these blueberries, they give me the flux every time. And then my corn, which I had to get out of my greenhouse, and it was looking funky, but it is looking great now. Oh, I was getting a little stressed out, but this is the peaches and cream corn. This is that bicolor sweet corn here, bicolor sweet corn here, and then sweet corn here. So all of these these were started in March. All of these were pretty much started in March. These are just slow growing because they were in the small cell, and I did not transplant them fast enough like I did these. I transplanted these first, and look at them. These were transplanted second, and then these were transplanted third. But they're doing really well. They're doing well. I have more potatoes this way. Some the red potatoes, some more Yukon Gold, things of that nature, and they're all doing well. Before I get over here to this area, so this is I moved my tomatoes that were here to here. And this is where I'm going to build like a pergola over them because they do not like a lot of sun. They do like sun, but not 12 hours of sun and 12 hours of heat in the blazing July weather and August weather that we get. And so some of my tomatoes I have to transplant out because they just didn't take well. So I have plenty of extra ones that I'm just going to go ahead and transplant over. Some are already starting to get a few tomatoes on them, as you can see, which is fine. I let them do what they do. I don't move. These are my stakes for my pole beans. People say, oh, you got to clip this. I don't. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should. I don't. But there's 3 areas over here of tomatoes that I need to replace, and I have plenty. I think I have like 20 more tomato plants that I had because I started like 4 of each one just in case. So I'll go ahead and get them all transplanted out, and in the next 2 weeks, this area will be built up. 2 to 3 weeks. Let me say that, 2 to 3 weeks. And then over here in this area, these are all new growing containers. Have some radicchio in them and some pole beans. So that's what these stakes are for. I just had to temporarily stake them up. So I'll use these for my peppers and things that I need. I just needed to put something on them to hold them. And then over in here is more tomatoes. So some tomatoes here with some Egyptian spinach there. And then over here, I have another spot of tomatoes I'm going to put. This is what I was in the process of doing, and it got too hot. But it'll be 4 tomatoes here and 2 peppers there. And then over here, some more pink amaranth. And in the front of each pink amaranth is a patty pan squash right here. And those are doing really well. So these are some of the ones I need to finish transplanting. And then that right there is some sweet Annie. And that's going to get really huge. So the goal is for these to get kind of tall and kind of shade a little bit over this way and grow that way. And then my pole beans to kind of grow tall and kind of shade this area over in here. That's the goal. And along with this area here to cut down on some of this sun beaming down on everything. So those will still get full sun, which is what they like. But this area will kind of get a little bit of that shade, just a little bit. And then This area here, I absolutely love it, guys. This is one of my favorite areas in the garden. So I've harvested a lot. I've transplanted a lot. I got some plants I'm going to transplant over here. That's over there. So when I say I'm going to transplant, I'm either going to take some from there and put them here, or some from over here in this area and put them here. And this is still, I'm going to add another shade cloth because I want it to continuously grow. These are cabbages, broccoli, kale, things of that nature, and I don't want it to bolt. So as long as I put it in here, I'm going to add an additional shade cloth on it. It will do well. And that way I can still have this throughout the summer. I usually do it every year and it works out just fine. And so this one I have not filled yet. So next year I will grow in here. I'm just kind of throwing grass clippings, compost, building the soil area over here. And then next year I'll plant in there. But this year, this one has been planted out and it is exploding. So what's in here? Some of everything, guys. So we got a little watermelon growing right here, broccoli there. So these is 4 broccoli plants going straight along that way. A cabbage right there. This is a cabbage here, cabbage here. This broccoli I've already harvested. Here you see those marigolds, and then another watermelon here, purple cabbage there, and then along the back, let me show you, there's some crooked neck squash and straight neck squash, which is already starting to bloom. And I hand pollinate this area because I was trying to keep down on vine borers and things of that nature. So I'm squeezing my way through here, and just so you can see. So this is the area that I hand pollinate. So when I see them, I come back here and check them. Look at that. That's going to be some zucchini right there. So that one has a female flower on it. So I'm going to go ahead and pollinate that and have some zucchini going. But this is that area there. So that's crooked neck squash, and then that's the zucchini over there. And those are some male flowers right there. So I'll go ahead and pollinate that so we'll have some zucchini. And then over here, this area here has squash as well. 1 acorn, crooked neck, and zucchini over here, and these 2, and then those 2. And then over here, I took my cabbages that were growing here and transplanted them under that area there. So these 2 will come out as well. And then over here will be dragon tongue bush beans, cranberry bush beans, and I forgot the other one, bush beans. So over here will be bush beans. I was going to do some ground cherries. I just didn't have time. My intentions were there, but it's too late and I don't want to deal with the hassle of it, so I'm not. Okay, so that's what's over here in this area. Some lemongrass right over there in that little bucket there. And then over this way is, okay, so that's a patio. I'm going to put that in the greenhouse, but there's some okra here that I need to plant out. That's going over there as well. But these are all watermelons or cantaloupe that's in these grow bags. And then the front will be some kind of flower, either zinnias or marigolds. And then back here, this will be, I'm waiting on this to finish growing. This is a cauliflower plant. Once this grows, I'll go ahead and harvest this. And then these are my Brussels. These will stay here until December. So these are the goal is for them to stay here, and they'll get shaded throughout the grow season. And then over here in this area, a hodgepodge of things. So we got some cabbage there, some celery there. There'll be some more celery I'm going to add here. This right here, purple cauliflower that's going to be coming up shortly. More broccoli. This here started to bolt. This is some bok choy. So I'm actually just leaving it now for pollinators. I'm letting that one grow for pollinators, letting this one grow for the pollinators. And then over here is the cabbage that's ready to go. Some parsley. Here is my purple kohlrabi that is about ready. I'm sorry, not that one, but this one. This kohlrabi is about ready. Look at that one. This one is just now bulbing, starting to form its little bulb down here. Let me see if I can get close enough to it. Down there. And then here is some broccoli that's forming, and then a little head of lettuce here, and then back there under that big leaf is some more chamomile. So the only thing that's going to come out of here is the cauliflower and these cabbages, and then I'll probably put new cabbages in this place to make room for things that are growing over in those buckets, and that way, and then put my cover on for these, my netting like those. So that's what it's looking like over in here. I'm just trying to make sure I covered every space before I make my way into the greenhouse. Oh, I did not cover this beauty here. So over here, we just have a couple pieces of broccoli that I've already harvested, some kale, some lettuces, a few little onions. So let me raise this area up so you can see it. It's growing quite nicely in here. And that is really it for all this grow space. So I think I've covered everything over here. And so last time, I don't know if I had a chance to, if I had everything planted, but just want to show you this time how everything is planted in. And this is as far as I'm probably going to extend this space here. I don't think I'll go further back anymore, and I won't go further out. If anything, I'll add more grow bags to this area. And then when the other greenhouse is installed, my cloth grow bags, some of them will go in the greenhouse. And then I really want all of this to be the metal raised beds, like everything out here to be metal raised beds. That's the goal. But we will see. We will see. This is a work in progress, and I love it, but it's, whew. And then the pond, the fish are doing well in the pond. I hope I never really get to capture them on camera. I really want you guys to see them. So at some point, one day when we're cleaning it, maybe I'll get it that way. They're not gonna come up even when I turn the filters off. I have to act like I'm feeding them or something. And then it's just a lot. But I'll have to have my husband and someone else out here so we can kind of grasp the fish on camera. And then the dreaded greenhouse. I dread this space because everything in here is a reminder of what I need to plant. Okay, so this is what this area is looking like. It's a growth explosion that is doing absolutely well. Butterfly that made its way in here, or the moth, but it's okay. Because every tomato plant is coming out of here. All the lettuce is coming out because it's just time. It's gonna go in the compost. And then I'm gonna make way for the things that like the heat. So I see there's some strawberries ready there. Let me show you. There's some strawberries that's ready right there. I'm gonna have my husband come out here and get his strawberries because they are ready. So I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm sorry. Maybe a little too close. So strawberries that are ready. Peppers that are ready. Cabbages that are ready. We pulled that cabbage. My daughter wants to do a cabbage bowl. We got another small one here. Tomatoes galore. Tomatoes are growing in here. So it's just time for me to get some of these out into the main garden. Cucumbers in here. Got peppers over there. So some of the peppers will stay in here. Some of the tomatoes will stay in here. Let me pull this back. Some of the tomatoes will stay in here. Radish, I'm going to harvest and plant more. So I have a lot to do in here. I just have to do it in the evening when it's not so hot and revamp. But a lot of this has to come out and go into the main garden. So I'm just waiting for some things to be ready for harvest, and then it will be ready to go. But this is what everything is looking like. And I tried to get this in under an hour, and I did. So I'm not going to do any edits. I'm just literally going to post this the way it is because it's a lot to do that and get back out here. And this is a full-time thing for me, and I still work a full-time job, 3 full-time jobs. Just to remind you, I own my own businesses, my rental company where I rent out properties. I also am a full-time paralegal and a full-time notary signing agent. So yeah. So what you see in these videos is what you get until I can find somebody that will help me with these edits. But anyway, thank you for staying to the end if you did. And I am going to do some updates on the chickens next so that you guys can see the progress on those. They're in the house, and they need to get out soon because they're getting so big and they need to come out here. So we do let them out from time to time in the coop while we're out here, but we put them in our dark cage so they can't really get out. But it's time. But anyway, this is my little homestead in the making. And if you haven't started a garden, it's not too late. Whether you're in Chicago, north, south, east, or west, start a garden. All right. Happy growing, everyone.